1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sadia Sattar. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says the unprecedented sacrifices being rendered by the Kashmiri people will not go in vain and time is not far when they will decide their future. Foreign Minister has gone to China to hold talks. On bilateral relations in diverse fields and regional issues including Afghan situation. Pakistan has strongly condemned India's state-sponsored surveillance and spying operations in clear breach of global norms. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred two Kashmiri youths in Sopur town today. Taliban say peace in Afghanistan is not possible until a new negotiated government is installed in Kabul. The United States has expressed the desire to secure progress in stalled denuclearization talks with North Korea. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says the unprecedented sacrifices being rendered by the Kashmiri people will not go in vain and time is not far when they will decide their future. Addressing the public meeting at Trarkhel in Azad Kashmir this evening, he said international community through UN Security Council resolutions have promised to give the right to self-determination to Kashmiri people. The Prime Minister strongly rejected the notion that PTI government is mulling to make Azad Jammu and Kashmir a province of Pakistan. He said, "We are making strenuous efforts for the last 1 year to bring electoral reforms to make election process transparent, and opposition has repeatedly been invited to sit with the government for this purpose." Imran Khan said electronic voting machines will bring an end to rigging allegations and help in holding transparent elections. He said a SAS program is being launched in the region and people will be given health cards for free treatment. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has expressed confidence that his visit to China will further strengthen bilateral fraternal relations between the two countries. In a video statement before leaving for China on a 2-day visit today, he said bilateral strategic agenda would be discussed in his meeting with the Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. The foreign minister said the two sides will exchange views on the situation in Afghanistan and the region. He said that a detailed meeting on the progress made so far on the projects related to China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and its future strategy would be held. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said the Pak-China friendship, which has entered the 7th decade, is emerging as a strong strategic partnership. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Yao Lijian at a media briefing in Beijing said Pakistan and China support each other for mutual beneficial cooperation on bilateral terms and seek common development. He said on the international stage, we jointly defend international equality and justice and firmly safeguard the international order anchored by the international law. The spokesperson said China is ready to take this opportunity of the foreign minister's visit to China to enhance the strategic cooperation, deepen practical cooperation, and lift relations to a new height. Pakistan has strongly condemned India's state-sponsored widespread surveillance and spying operations in clear breach of global norms of responsible state behavior. Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry, while responding to media queries, expressed serious concern over recent international media reports exposing Indian government's organized spying operations against its own citizens, foreigners, as well as Prime Minister Imran Khan using an Israeli-origin spyware. He said keeping a clandestine tab on dissenting voices is a long-standing textbook ploy of the RSS BJP regime to commit human rights atrocities in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and peddle disinformation against Pakistan. The spokesperson said the world has seen the true face of the so-called Indian democracy when the reports of EU Disinfo Lab Indian Chronicle surfaced earlier last year. The Committee to Protect Journalists has asked Indian authorities to immediately stop occupying the offices of media group Dainik Bhaskar and the home of its managing director and cease harassing the group's news channels Bharat Samachar and its staff. Committee to Protect Journalists Asia Program Coordinator Stephen Butler said in a statement that the use of tax raids against media properties is a vile tactic transparently aimed at intimidating news outlets that report critically on India's government, and it needs to stop now. This is Radio Pakistan. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 2 Kashmiri youth in Sopur town. The youth were killed by the troops during a cordon and search operation in Warpura area of the town. The occupation authorities suspended internet services in the area. Chairman of Pasban-e-Hurriyat Jammu and Kashmir, Uzair Ahmad Ghazali, in a statement issued in Muzaffarabad, paid rich tributes to the martyred youth. He deplored the Indian troops killed the 2 innocent Kashmiri youth in the auspicious days of Eid al-Azha, which showed their hatred against the Kashmiris. He said that on the occasion of Eid, a series of terrorist attacks, curfews, siege and raids continued by Indian troops in IIOJK and the people faced severe difficulties. He said that despite all the oppression and violence of India, the Kashmiri people would continue their freedom movement till complete success, and one day they would get rid of Indian subjugation. Taliban say peace in Afghanistan is not possible until there is no negotiated government in Kabul and President Ashraf Ghani is removed. In an interview with the Associated Press, Taliban spokesman Sohail Shaheen said the Taliban will lay down their weapons when a negotiated government acceptable to all sides in the conflict is installed in Kabul. He said the Taliban do not believe in the monopoly of power. Shaheen said under the new government, women will be allowed to work, to go to school and participate in politics, but will have to wear the hijab. Meanwhile, the U.S. military launched several airstrikes this week in support of Afghan government forces fighting Taliban insurgents, including in Kandahar. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said the strikes were carried out in support of the Afghan forces with combat aircraft based outside the country. The Biden administration has not said whether it will continue that support. The pullout is complete. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a plan to allow an extra 8,000 special immigration visas for Afghans who are at risk of retaliation as U.S. troops complete their pullout from Afghanistan. According to a Reuters report, the bipartisan bill, which passed with a vote of 407 to 16, will now be considered by the Senate. U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price said that since 2008, the department has issued more than 73,000 special immigrant visas to Afghan principal applicants and their eligible family members. Russia says it will counter militants from Afghanistan if they enter the territory of Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. Russian presidential envoy for Afghanistan Zamir Kabulov said in an interview that Russia will strike them in accordance with the bilateral agreements signed with these countries. The United States is seeking a reliable and constructive way to secure progress in stalled denuclearization talks with North Korea. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman today made these remarks following a meeting with South Korean Vice Foreign Minister Cha Jong-un in Seoul. The two sides discussed how to reopen negotiations after North Korea brushed off the Biden administration's proposals for talks. A migrant boat carrying 45 people has sunk to the south of Turkey. Turkish Defense Ministry said in a statement that Turkish naval ships and an aircraft are carrying out search and rescue operations. And now the weather. Rain, wind, thunderstorm is expected in Sindh, northeast Punjab, eastern Balochistan and Kashmir during the next 12 hours. However, hot and humid weather is expected elsewhere in the country. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk.